Hi and welcome. This is Steve, of course, and this is Walk-In Deals. I want to tell you a little bit about how this concept came about to get started, real briefly. I've spent the last 3 years on the road staying at independent hotels and motels around the country. Probably spent about over 200 nights at different hotels and motels. What I was doing was obviously, trying to understand the business of the independents versus the brands. I understand the franchise brands really well, but the independents are different. They have different needs. And a few things I realized was one, there's nowhere online that there's any online travel agencies that focus on the independents or the small brand hotels that offer weekly rates. The second thing I realized was there's no one that makes an affordable product to give these motels an opportunity to advertise, but advertise in a way that doesn't put them into a compromising position. Meaning this, a lot of these independent motels we're talking about, probably about 15,000 in the US, do not put rates online. The reason they do not put rates online is they need to look at the person checking in before they give them a room key. And we both know why. So this model was built to service that crowd, the independent hotels and motels and the small budget brands that offer weekly rates and are looking for an affordable way to target these audiences. Currently in the world, there's nothing like this, which is really exciting. So let me kind of jump in and show what I'm talking about. So first of all, this is in the website form of the view. I'm going to switch this over to mobile. And the reason I'm going to switch it to mobile is if you understand the independent motels, the small mom and pop motels, and the small budget brands, their demographics are different than the franchise customers, meaning their demographics typically don't have as much discretionary income. They don't necessarily have a computer. They have a smartphone, iPhone or Android, but that's pretty much the limitations on their technology. So we want to build a product that is catering to that crowd's needs. We don't want to make it really cool on the website and have the mobile side of it kind of okay. We want to make the mobile website just awesome and then make the website match up to it. So I'm going to switch gears a little bit here. Hold on a second. So this is a cool feature by Google Chrome that allows you to put things in a format. This is obviously a Galaxy S5. Let's go ahead and put it into an iPhone here, since that's pretty much what most of my customers use is iPhones. Okay, so now it's an iPhone. I'm going to go ahead and refresh, make sure it's all good. So when you come in, the first thing you can do is you can obviously scroll down the page like everybody would and look at what's around and kind of see all the cool features, right? Just kind of describes the different types of products we offer. Some of our featured hotels, featured areas, et cetera, et cetera. Now I'm going to go right to the meat of this. I'm going to click on city. Now we have this set up for Los Angeles, so I'm going to click on Los Angeles. I'm going to click search. Now what it's going to do now is it's going to bring up the hotels or motels in that particular vicinity that we have in our system. Now I've got only 5 in here just to kind of give you an idea how it works. So the first one's going to be the Aqua Motel, and then of course the Villa Park, whatever. We'll use the Aqua. So you can see some basic highlights. You can see the prices here. Now these prices might not exactly match up with what they're offering, but it's kind of a beta model right now. But 85.50 daily, 520 weekly. I'm going to click on details. Now it comes up with basically what looks like a website to most people. It has all the same features and characteristics of a website, so we can promote the motel or hotel, really nicely with pictures. And I'll scroll down here a little bit here for you. Yeah, excuse me, let me cancel that. Scroll down here, amenities, things to do in the area. Again, same type of thing you see on a nice, beautiful website. They get here with their listing with WalknDeals.com, details about the area, the property. This is kind of a cool feature that's unique that I know of. It basically allows us to cater the Google search around the area to the needs of the motel guests. So what do they want? They might want to know where the gas station's at, the local restaurants, maybe the ATM machine, maybe a liquor store, maybe a bar, maybe a bowling alley, that type of stuff. So we're going to cater this to what they're looking for, not all the other businesses around the area, so that they can kind of promote what's around their property. A motel owner can promote what's around their property. Of course, we have directions, the phone number, and contact information, all that good stuff. Now I go up top again. Now this part's really cool. You see the book it now and the walk-in rates. Watch what happens when I click on that. So I've switched it over to mobile as well again. So now it's going to come up and tell me a little bit about this particular property, right? So it's going to tell me, my check-in date, my checkout date. I can change that, of course. It says modify right here. This is a one king bed. So you notice it's a $90 reservation rate. Now, if they're online with Expedia or Booking.com, they have to be in rate parity most of the time, especially with a website like this, because eventually they'll start scraping this website. So we want to make sure they're in rate parity here. But notice below you see the walk-in deals. I'm going to come back to that in just a second. But you can see the different room types, okay? So we'll click on this one first. What's really special about this technology and this product is that we've built it around the needs of the motel. About 6 years ago, I built this technology for another project and spent pretty close to $500,000 putting it together. At the time, the market timing wasn't right for the other product, but this is perfectly timed for this particular product right here. Let me show you. Okay, but before I click on this, one thing you got to realize is that motels don't want to put online reservations like I mentioned earlier because they need to see who's coming in, especially weekly rates. But even in daily rates, there's about 15,000 hotels in the country that don't have any rates online whatsoever because they can't afford to just rent rooms to just anybody because they might end up with the wrong crowd. And we all know how that works. So when I click on weekly rates right here, what's going to happen is it's going to come up with a promotional offer of 5% off. Now we lock this promotional offer at 5 to 10%, so we're never going to get really into a big rate war situation. We're going to control that and give them the ability to give a nice little promotion of 5 to 10%, but no more than 10, no less than 5. So now I'm kind of pushing the walk-in traffic here with the 85.50 rate, which is really cool because the person can come in and save 5%, which is nice. There's a code here, of course. Notice based on availability right here, big bold letters. So that way you can say, hey, I don't have any rooms available at that rate, or I don't have any weekly rooms at that rate. It's always up to the hotel and motel owner to make a decision on that person standing in front of them. Our job is to get them to walk in. Their job is to decide whether they're going to take the money or not, because this might be somebody they rented a room to previously that destroyed their motel or maybe did some illegal acts in their motel and they don't want them back. So what's so cool about that is now they have the ability to basically, come in there and have a walk-in rate so they can push walk-in traffic and not have to worry about having online rates. Now, if they're in an area that they can afford to put reservation rates on, they should do that because why wouldn't you, right? So watch this. This is really cool. This is how the weekly component works. The motels we're targeting have weekly rates. Typically, there's nowhere in the world that I've found yet, and I've done extensive research, where you can find these rates at. You have to call the hotel or motel and get lucky because 50% of the time, based on our market research, that's over 3,000 hotels we've called, 50% of the time they don't answer the phone. They're out on the property working on it. Who knows what's going on, but they're busy because they don't have the staff to work the front desk while they go out and fix the Wi-Fi or fix the plumbing. So now I'm going to walk in here, I'm going to go in here, I'm going to change this to 7 nights. Watch what happens. I'm going to click on search availability. Now we know the rate was $90. So 9 times 7, I believe, is 63 if my math's still working for me. As I go down here, look what happens. The reservation rate disappeared, and now we have a walk-in deal rate. So the owner had come in earlier and told us he's going to give 20%, 15%, whatever they give on a weekly rate. The system auto-calculated it for them. So it gave them the 504 rate. Now they can turn on reservations, and that person can book that room at 504 on the reservation if they're in an area they're comfortable with reservations. Of course, that's the difference. It gives them the option, which is so cool. And the other thing that's really cool about the way I built this is I found out that a lot of these motels, someone will walk in and say, how much is a weekly rate? And the guy says $504. And the guy at the front desk says, what if I do 4 weeks? And the owner gets excited and says, well, I'll do it for $450. So they rent the guy a room for $450, and what happens? A week later, the guy checks out. And the owner's sitting there going, wait a minute. You're supposed to stay for 4 weeks. I gave you a 4-week rate. But he doesn't get, obviously, that because he gave him $450, trusting in the fact they were going to stay 4 weeks. Our system auto-calculates that. We know that the rate is $450 on average, so the first week will be higher. The second week will be lower, the third week a little lower, and the fourth week a little lower. So each week they pay a different price, but at the end they pay average of $450, but they check out, and the first week he gets his $504 rate. and they're loving that feature as well. So that kind of gives you the general feeling of how the system works. It's very simple. And what we're doing is we're kicking this in with a really incredible offer to give motels and hotels that need it a free website and a free Google tune-up. Basically, to give them, that information so to promote this online, because every time someone goes to their website, they end up on the same booking page. So all the traffic from their website and from Walk-in Deals is going to the same reservation portal, the same walk-in portal. So we're doubling up on our results for this product, and so that kind of it shows how it works as far as the big picture. You're going to have a website, Google TuneUp, and WalknDeals.com promoting this product out there on the internet. So hopefully this kind of gives you a little insight. There's some really cool other features I got going, but I want to talk to you about it in person. But I want to be able to give you, some of the details, because I'll tell you what, I've had some insane feedback on this so far. I've only shown it to a handful of people so far, but every one of the owners I've shown it to just loves this product. So give me some feedback. I'd like to know what your thoughts are. Thank you so much for watching this. Have a good day.